Good morning, everyone. So we're going to go ahead and get started here with our, I believe, our sixth session of Finals Countdown hosted by the Net College Learning Center. So today we actually have Canada, who will be going over Math 100 graphing functions. So that's what she'll be covering in this presentation. So again, we do have that gift card giveaway, which I'm still reminding students of. If you, at the very end of each presentation, we'll be submitting a link in the chat box. And then that link is crucial for you to be entered into the drawings for your participation, to add up those participation points and stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and talk about that later on at the end after her presentation. But I'll go ahead and give it off to Canada, who will go over graphing functions for Math 100. Go ahead, Canada.
Okay. So my presentation's on graphing. So what is graphing? Graphing means to plot, trace, line, or drop a line on a graph. Graph is a representation or illustration of the relationship of data. On a number line, each point is graphed by a number. And on a plane, each point is graphed by a pair of numbers. To form a plane, we would use a perpendicular line called axis. When both axes cross each other, they form a center point in which it's called origin. Order pairs. Order pairs are a set of two numbers which locate a point on a graph. When an order pair is located on a graph, it is a coordinate. So let's take this order pair, 2 and 5. In this order pair, 2 is the first coordinate to use on a graph, and then 5 is the second. To plot this order pair, we would start with the origin and move horizontally to the 2, and then we would move up vertically 5 units. And then there's our point. Quadrants. There are 4 regions on the graph called quadrants. When an order pair is in the first quadrant, they will both have positive numbers. When they are in the second, they will have a negative and a positive number. And when they're in the third, they both have negative numbers. And when they're in the fourth, they will have a positive and a negative number. Now we will over order pairs and quadrants. Now it's your turn. Locate the points on the graph and what quadrant they are in. 4 and 1. So if you got that point on our graph. So now, what quadrant is it located in? You can answer by type it in your chat box. Okay, we have our first answer. They said in quadrant 1. And it is correct. So our second point, -5 and -3. If you got that as your answer, then you are correct. So what quadrant is this located in? Quadrant 3 is correct. The third point, -2 and 4. If this is your answer, then you are correct. Now, what quadrant is this located in? If you answered 2, then you are correct. Now, the last point, +2 and -1. If you answered this point, then you are correct. So what quadrant is this located in? If you answered 4, then you are correct. Intercepts. An intercept is a point on the x and y axis. The y-intercept is 0 and b. To find the b, let x equal 0 and solve the equation. The y-intercept is a and 0. To find the a, let y equal 0 and solve the equation. Oh. So let me go and do some sample problems on that one. Okay. So we have 3x plus 6y is equal to 9. So first we are going to solve for our x. So we have to put our 0 where our y, right here. Once we put our 0 where our y, now we're going to solve our equation. So 6 times 0 is going to be 0. And 3x plus 0. So now once we have this right here, we are going to divide by 3, then divide this one by 3. Then this one will cancel out. So we're going to have x equals, now we're going to divide 9 by 3. So once we divide it, there'll be 3 here. So our x is going to be 3. So that's our first one. Our second one is going to be locating our y-intercept. So we're going to use the same equation. But this time we are going to substitute x for 0. So now to do that, so 3 times 0 is going to be 0. Then we're going to solve for our rest of the equation. So we're going to divide 6 right here, and then right here is also. Then 6 will cancel out, leaving our y by itself. Now we have 9 and 6. Then we can simplify this one and make it, reduce it more. So we can divide the top one by 3, and then divide the bottom one by 3. So now our new answer is going to be 9 divided by 3 is going to be 3, and then 6 divided by 3 is going to be 2. So right here is our new answer. It's going to be 3 over 2. So now we've found our x and y intercept. Okay. So now you saw the process of it. You can try with this sample problem I'm writing right here. 2x minus 4y is equal to 20. Find your x, find your y. Once you have your answer, type it in the chat box. Once I have both answers, we will solve it out together. Go ahead and take this time to solve the problem. Okay. So we have some answers rolling in. Now let's go solve it out. So we'll start off with our y. Okay. So now I have this part. Now we're going to divide it by -4. And this will cancel on this side. So y is equal to -5. So now let's go do our x-intercept. So now we're going to divide this side by 2, and then 20 divided by 2. Then we can cancel this one out. So our x is equal to 10. So if you guys got this one, then you guys are correct. Okay, go back. So slopes. Slope is a line that describes both the direction and the steepness of the line. So the formula of the slope is y is equal to mx plus b. The b in the slope formula is the y-intercept, and the m is the slope. So the m is also indicated rise over run. There. To find the slope, we would use another formula, and this formula requires 2 points. This formula is y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So you could, since this example on the side has 2 points, you can just use that formula and then you'll have it. Other than that, there is another way. You can use rise over run. You can just go up 2, then move over 4. So these are 2 ways you can use to find the slope. Okay, now that we went over intercepts and the slope, now it's your turn. Find the slope and the y-intercept if it exists in each line. Write your answer in the chat box. So if you answered -10 as your slope, then you are correct. Okay. So if you entered your slope as negative 6/2 or negative 3 and your intercept is 15, then you are correct. So if you entered your slope as 1/3 and your intercept as negative 2, then you are correct. So if you entered your slope as 1 and your intercept as 9, then you are correct. So parallel lines. Parallel lines have the same slope. M1 is equal to M2 and different y-intercepts. So B1 is not equal to B2. Parallel lines do not intersect with each other. So as you see on this picture on the side is their x is 2 on your yellow line. On the green line, it gives you an equation. X 2 minus 3y plus 4 is equal to 0. So by telling x2 is our slope for the green line, and for yellow, it's 2 right here. So they have the same slope, so they are parallel. They have different intersects. Perpendicular lines. Two lines that are perpendicular if the product of their slope is equal to -1. So M1 times M2 is equal to -1. So, for example, y equals 3x plus 1 and y equals -1/3x plus 1. So if we were to multiply these two together, they would be perpendicular. So now that we went over parallels and perpendicular lines, determine whether the graph of the equation are parallel and perpendicular. Y is equal to 1 and y is equal to -2. Are they parallel or perpendicular? It's short after you. So if you entered parallel lines, then you are correct. Let's go on to the next one. X equals -6 and Y is equal to 6. Are they parallel or perpendicular? So if you answer perpendicular, you're correct. And this next one, X plus 4 is equal to Y, and Y minus X is equal to -3. Is it parallel or perpendicular? If you answered parallel, you are correct. X is equal to -3, or is equal to 3, and Y is equal to -2/6. Is it parallel or perpendicular? If you answer perpendicular, you are correct. So that's the end of my presentation.
All right, cool. So does anyone have any questions for Shikanada? It can be anything from graphing functions, stuff like that. Maybe if you have any questions with types of functions. Any questions? Alrighty, so if not, we can go ahead and just end it at that for this session. So I'll go ahead and have Audrey go ahead and post the evaluation link. Again, it's very crucial for you guys to fill those out to be entered into those gift card giveaways. And let's see here. Just as a reminder, we do have another session here today at 1 o'clock with Ernest. He'll be going over fractions for Math 102. And then later on this afternoon, 3 o'clock, I'll be taking over the engaging with sources and writing. So I'll be filling in for Zandria, who was originally scheduled to do that presentation. So I'll be taking over that one for today. We'll be covering how to engage with types of sources, depending on the type of writing you're doing, and then looking at how to not overshadow your papers with a bunch of sources over your distinct voice and stuff like that. So just a preview of what I'll be talking about later on at 3 o'clock. So feel free to join in on that session as well. So again, don't forget the evaluation. The link is posted there, and then everything should be okay. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email Learning Center at thenetcollege.edu if you have any other questions regarding finals countdown or regarding any previous presentations as well. So the previous presentations have already been uploaded to YouTube. So if you missed some of the sessions, you can go back and watch them if you want. I'll be posting this one immediately after we're done here. So yeah, hopefully everyone enjoys the rest of their day. And yeah, thank you guys.